14 on Friday morning, the morning after. And there it is. Currently, Conservatives are holding 321 seats, Labour 269, Liberal Democrats 17. All others hold 13 in all. 31 seats still to be decided. Expected overall majority now hovers between 17 and 19 for the Conservatives.
Well, we're joined by Cecil Parkinson, former Conservative Party Chairman and Cabinet Minister, and shortly we'll be talking to Tony Blair, Labour's employment spokesman, who's in our Newcastle studio. First of all, Mr Parkinson, in all honesty, you must be very relieved. Are you a bit surprised as well?
I am pleased. I began to believe we were going to win, and I've been saying so since about Monday. I've been to 41 constituencies all over the country, marginals, and one just felt our vote was hardening up. The don't knows were making up their mind to vote. They weren't as enthusiastic perhaps as we would have wished, but they decided to vote for us, and one could feel that move back to us. And the poll on Tuesday, which showed Labour down 3, us up 1, Liberal down 1, just confirmed what one felt was actually happening.
In the south of England, your vote certainly held strong, but now are we not looking really at a divided Britain? I mean, north of Birmingham, it's Labour, and south it's
No, I don't think that's true. I wish if it was true, the Labour Party would actually be in power at the moment. We have a very good spread of seats all over the country. Even in Scotland, where we were supposed to be obliterated, we've gained seats, and the Nationalists are shown to be the little rump protest party that one suspected they were.
Their vote increased, though, and that brings me to Scotland. What are the Conservatives actually going to do? Is it going to be the status quo, or will there be any change?
That will be a matter for John Major, but he's made it quite clear that there can be no question of any independence or breakup of the Union. He thinks that all parts of the United Kingdom gain from being part of a United Kingdom, and that is not negotiable. But he will be analysing the results. He will be talking to his colleagues. We'll have to wait and see. But we are the party of the Union. That's what we stood as, and we gained as a result of being clear about our position.
What do you think John Major's priority is going to be?
Well, he spelled it out over the last 4 weeks. The first thing is to control inflation. The second thing is to get the recovery really firmly underway, and then to use that prosperity in a fair way to produce a better Britain. He's outlined his plans in a whole range of areas.
Is it going to be very difficult, though, with such a small majority?
No, I don't think so. It's a good working majority. Don't forget, in 1974, the Labour Party went into power with an overall majority of 2 and stayed for 4 years and 9 months and pushed through most of their programme. 17 overall is a practical working majority of much nearer 30.
They've had to say goodbye to people like Chris Patten. Do you think he'll be back very shortly?
Well, I don't know when he'll be back. I hope he'll be back. It must be very galling for him, having worked so hard and had a very good personal campaign, to find himself sitting on the outside looking in, when, as a result of his efforts, a lot of his colleagues are sitting on the inside looking out.
Well, Mr Parkinson, thank you. We'll come back to you, but now we can go up to Newcastle to talk to Tony Blair. You had a mountain to climb, and in the end it was too steep.
Well, there was a mountain to climb. I think people sometimes forget that. In 1987, we had a very, very long way to come in this election. And I think our sense of disappointment, obviously, is balanced by a sense of pride in the achievement we made. I mean, we've won 45, 50 seats. We have sliced the Conservative majority, and those are things that we can look upon very positively. And I also think much of the agenda in the election campaign, whether it's on the economy or the health service or education, was ours.
Well, the country, though, in such a recession and the government seemingly being so unpopular, shouldn't you really have done a lot better?
Well, I think part of the problem was that in the depth of that type of recession, maybe people did hesitate about change, and of course there was this tremendous, as you yourself pointed out, there was this tremendous leap to be made from our position in 1987 through to a majority Labour government. It was always going to be a very, very hard task. But I think what is very important to realise is that Labour won seats in this election right across the country. I mean, seats in Plymouth, seats in the Midlands, seats in London where people thought maybe we wouldn't do so well, and of course seats further up north in the country. And so the picture, if you like, of Labour simply the party of various parts of the country, Scotland, Wales, the north and so forth, but not the rest of it, that picture now has to be measured against very substantial gains right across the country, and that is good news for us.
Now, it's early days, but people are already asking questions about Neil Kinnock. What do you think he will do?
Well, that's not even on the agenda this morning. I think that Neil Kinnock had a brilliant campaign, a superb campaign, in which he galvanized and motivated people right across the country. And I think that people should remember, and I certainly remember, that it is thanks to Neil Kinnock and his courage and integrity in the leadership of the Labour Party that we came so far.
Well, Tony Blair, thank you very much indeed for speaking to us from Newcastle. We've had a little bit of sound problems there, and we do apologise for the quality, but thank you very much indeed for joining us.
Thank you.